Welcome to Module 3, Lesson 3, Threat Emulation. The learning objectives for this lesson will be to define and understand what threat emulation is, but also appreciate how threat emulation can use the behaviors, such as the techniques in attack, to assess and evaluate defenses. We can further extend our applications and use cases for operationalizing cyber threat intelligence into what is known as intelligence-driven emulation, or basically red teams mimicking known adversaries and threats. This is critical as we can scope and prioritize what threats and behaviors we evaluate, but also observe, evaluate, and ultimately improve our defenses using the perspective of our adversaries. Looking back at our detection analytic example from the last lesson, the question quickly becomes, does this provide an adequate level of defense against this technique? Or should we continually evaluate and incorporate improvements based on other sources of information? Similar to our detection analytic example, we can use attack to provide context and inputs to help us build more threat-informed assessment material. And using our adversary emulation library as an example, we can build our structured and repeatable process for translating CTI and other insights into materials that can be used by our red teams to provide more quantitative and prioritized measurements of our cybersecurity defenses. We can also start to explore different forms of threat-informed assessments in terms of chaining particular techniques together, as well as documenting defensive lessons learned in the form of detections and mitigations. And with that, we've reached the end of this lesson. Please pause your video for a moment to consider the knowledge check. And in this case, the correct response is false. There's theoretically no limit to the number of different ways a single technique can be emulated. As a quick summary of this lesson, threat emulation is a form of offensive assessment mimicking particular adversaries or threats, such as the techniques in attack. Threat emulation helps us address the potentially unlimited number of procedures or variations of a technique. And we as defenders can use threat emulation to understand and, most importantly, improve our defenses using the perspective of specific threats. And as a reminder, don't forget to check out the rest of the MITRE ATT&CK Defender content and resources, particularly adversary emulation methodology.